Very good morning to one and all. Today we are going to start a new topic, that is robots. Before going to the robot and its configurations and applications, first we should know which are all the contents present in the robot. It mainly consists of introduction, robot anatomy, joints and links, common robot configurations and applications. Introduction to the robot. Already you know robot. Robot is a man-made machine which works as per the given set of instructions. An robot is an electromechanical device. A robot is an electromechanical device which follows a set of instructions to carry out certain jobs. Robot is a machine which is controlled by computer. That means by writing the program, we are controlling the robot operations. Robot can be substituted for humans in hazardous or uncomfortable work environment. Whenever there is an hazardous and uncomfortable work environment that is not possible by human being, in those cases we are using robot to perform those hazardous and uncomfortable work. Next is it consists robot is working consistently and repeatability of robots. Robot can be programmed based on our requirement. We have to write the program for performing the different operations. Robots are controlled by computers. These two are same. Robots are controlled by computers. By using the computer, once you have read the set of instructions, based on the set of instructions, robot can perform the different operations. Robot anatomy and related attributes, joints and links. This is very important point for your examination point of view. Robot anatomy and its related attributes, that is joints and links. It mainly consists of a base which is mainly used to support all other parts of the robot, and it is having the links and joints, series of links and joints. Here link 0, link 1, link 2, joint 1, joint 2. Link is nothing but a solid metallic device, as like our bone. Whatever the bones are there in our body, human body, like that here the links are nothing but a solid metallic device. Link 0, that is one solid metallic device. Link 1, and the solid metallic device. Link 2, third solid metallic device. Based on your requirement, you can use a number of links. Joints, it provides a relative motion between the input and output links. Joint 1 is having two links. One is link 0 input link and link 1 output link. It gives the relative motion between these two links. Again, joint 2, it provides a relative motion between link 1 and link 2. Here link 1 is an input link for joint 2. Link 2 is an input link for output link for joint 2. At the end, we're having a end of arm, that is a end gripper. We're having end gripper. Next very important point is types of joints. Different types of joints. Linear joint, it is also called as type L joint. Next is orthogonal joint, it is also called as type O joint. Next is rotational joint, it is also called as type R joint. Next is twisting joint, it is also called as type T joint. Linear joint, type L joint, orthogonal joint, type O joint, rotational joint, type R joint, twisting joint, type T joint. We study in detail how it's work. First one, linear joint, it is also called as type L joint. This linear joint, this is a joint in between the two links, input and output link. This is input link, this is output link. It gives a relative motion between input and output link. This is a linear joint. It gives a relative transitional motion between input and output link. Linear motion between input and output link. In this case, the axis of the input link is parallel to the axis of the output link. Both input link and output link axes are parallel to each other, and it gives relative transitional motion between input and output link. That is linear motion between input and output link. You just observe here, it gives a linear motion between input and output link. You just observe here, the relative moment between the input and output link and the output link is a translational sliding motion with the axis of the two links parallel. With the axis of the two links parallel. Next is orthogonal joint. It is also called as type O joint. Here this is input link, this is output link. This is input link, this is output link. It gives a relative translational motion between input link and output link, but the axis of the output link is perpendicular to the axis of the input link. Axis of the output link is perpendicular to the axis of the input link. Just observe here, orthogonal joint, it is also called as type O joint. This is also a translational sliding motion, but the input and output links are perpendicular to each other during the moment. Next is rotational joint. It is also called as type R joint. It gives a relative rotary motion between input and output link. The main objective of rotational joint, it gives a relative rotary motion between input link and output link. You just observe here, this is input link, this is output link. It gives a relative rotary motion between input link and output link. This is a joint, type R joint. Axis of the input link and output link are parallel to each other, but axis of the rotation is perpendicular to the axis of the input link and output link. Just observe here, rotational joint, type R joint. This type provides a rotational relative motion with the axis of the rotation perpendicular to the axis of the input and output link. Next, very important joint is twisting joint. It is also called as type T joint. You just observe here, this is input link, this is output link, this is a twisting joint in between input link and output link. It gives a relative rotary motion between input link and output link, relative rotary motion between input link and output link, but the axis of the rotation is parallel to the axis of the input link and output link. Initially, input link axis is parallel to the output link axis. These two links axes are parallel to each other. Axis of the rotation is also parallel to input link and output link. Twisting joint, type T joint. This joint also involves rotary motion, but the axis of the rotation is parallel to the axis of the two links. Next is a very important part in your robot is classification of the robot based on its configuration. Classification of the robot based on its configurations. Based on the configurations, we can classify the robot into 5 types. First one is Cartesian configuration. Second one is cylindrical configuration. Third one is polar configuration. Fourth one is jointed arm configuration. And last one is SCARA, that is selective compliance assembly robot arm. These are 5 configuration robots. We study in detail what is Cartesian configuration robot, how it's work, what is cylindrical configuration robot, how it's work, what is polar configuration robot, how it's work, what is jointed arm configuration robot, how it's work, and what is SCARA robot and how it's work. We study in detail one by one. Next is first one, Cartesian configuration robot. Cartesian configuration robot, it is an industrial robot. It is an industrial robot whose three axes, principal axes, are perpendicular to each other. In the name itself, Cartesian configuration, it mainly works on the Cartesian coordinates x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. All the three principal axes are perpendicular to each other. It is having three linear joints. Just observe here, this is one linear joint, this is another linear joint. Yes, it gives three linear motions. First one is with respect to z-axis, vertically upward and downward. Second one with respect to x-axis, in and out, in and out. With respect to y-axis, back and forth, back and forth. By this, we are getting a rectangular work envelopment. By this, we are getting a rectangular work envelopment. An industrial Cartesian configuration robot, it is an industrial robot whose three principal axes of control are linear and are right angles to each other, perpendicular to each other. It is having three sliding joints, linear joints, corresponding to the moving the wrist up and down. First linear joint is up and down with respect to vertical spindle, that is z-axis. Second is in and out with respect to x-axis. Third one is back and forth with respect to y-axis. By this moment, we are generating a rectangular work envelopment. By this moment, we are generating a rectangular work envelopment. Advantages of Cartesian configuration robots. The first advantage is it allows for simple controls. We can easily control Cartesian configuration robots, that is the movements of the arms. Second, it possesses a high degree of mechanical rigidity, accuracy, and repeatability. Third one is they can carry heavy loads and the weight lifting capacity. These are very important advantages related to configuration, Cartesian configuration robot. Next, coming to the disadvantages. First one is limited in their movement to a small and a rectangular workspace. This Cartesian configuration robot, it is having some limitations in the movement, that is only in x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. It will not move rotary axis. It will not move around 360 degree. That's why it is having some limitations and it produces a rectangular workspace. Second disadvantage is it reduces the flexibility. It is not that much of flexible as compared to other configuration robots. Next, coming to the applications. Cartesian configuration robot is mainly used to perform pick and place applications. Pick and place. If there is an object, if you want to pick that object from one place to another place, in those cases, you have to use pick and place applications. Then material handling applications. You can use Cartesian configuration robot to handle the materials. Third one is loading and unloading, vehicle loading and unloading. In those cases also we can use a Cartesian configuration robot, repeatable work. And machine loading and unloading. In those cases also we can use a Cartesian configuration robot to machine load and unload. These are different applications by using a Cartesian configuration. You just remember 4 to 5 applications: pick and place applications, material handling, vehicle loading and unloading, machine loading and unloading. These are very important applications related to Cartesian configuration robot. Next very important configuration robot is a cylindrical configuration robot. Cylindrical configuration robot, it is having one rotary joint and two linear joint. It is having one rotary joint and two sliding joint or linear joint. This rotary joint provides a rotary motion over the spindle, over the vertical spindle. It provides a rotary motion, and this sliding joint provides a linear motion. One is vertically upward and downward, and then one is horizontally in and out, in and out. By this, we are generating a cylindrical work envelopment. You just observe here, this dotted line, red color dotted line represents this is a cylindrical. Yes, how you got this cylindrical? By the movement of the robot arms. One is inward and outward, up and down, two sliding motions, that is linear motion. Sliding joint provides the linear motions, inward and outward, up and down, and one rotary motion with respect to vertical spindle. By this, we are generating a cylindrical work envelopment. You just observe here, cylindrical coordinate robots are the industrial robots, are the industrial robots whose axes form a cylindrical coordinate system, that is cylindrical work envelopment. This is used for assembly operations, material handling, and machine tools handling. These type of robots are mainly used for assembly operations. Already you know car manufacturing. The car is an assembled part. While doing the assembly operations, we are using this type of robot. Material handling, loading and unloading. These type of robots are also used for loading and unloading. Machine tools handling, machine tools handling, as like your lathe machine tools and milling machine tools handling. Advantages of cylindrical configuration robots. First one is it is rigidity is increased and is quite robust as compared to your Cartesian configuration robot. Slightly the rigidity gets increased and quite robust. It has the capacity to carry heavy and high payloads. It has the capacity to carry the high payloads. Coming to the disadvantages, work volume is less as compared to other configuration robots, spherical and as well as jointed arm robots. Work volume is less. Second one is it occupies more floor space. More floor space. Coming to the applications, cylindrical configuration robots are mainly used in foundry and forging applications, investment casting applications, conveyor pallet transfers, machine loading and unloading. Machine loading and unloading. Next very important configuration is polar configuration. It is also called as a spherical configuration robot. Polar configuration or spherical configuration robot. In the name itself, it indicates that it gives a spherical work envelopment. It gives that a spherical work envelopment. For getting the spherical work envelopment, we're having two rotary motion and one sliding motion. We're having two rotary motion and one sliding motion. By this, we are getting a spherical work envelopment. Polar configuration robot or spherical configuration robot, it is an industrial robot. It is an industrial robot which is having two rotary motion and one sliding motion. By this, we are getting a spherical work envelopment in the industry. By this, we are getting a spherical work envelopment in the industry. Spherical, already you know, it is the same as like a ball. Yes, you just observe here. This is a base. This is a base of the robot. Yes, this is one part. This is another part. Yes, one part is connected to the base by using a rotary joint. By using a rotary joint, axis of the rotation is vertical. Axis of the rotation is vertical, but it is rotating horizontally. It is rotating horizontally. Second is another rotary motion is vertically. Axis of the rotation is horizontal and the rotary motion is vertical. Vertical rotary motion, but the axis of the rotation is horizontal. And third one is a sliding motion. It is a sliding motion. It is a sliding motion. That means it is moving to and fro motion inside the one part. Inside the one part. By this, we are getting a spherical work envelopment in the working industries. In the working industries. Coming to the advantages, it gives a long reach capability is realized in the horizontal position. Second, coming to the disadvantages, the vertical reach is low. Vertical reach is low. Third one is its applications. Coming to the applications, first we can use the spherical configuration robot in die casting, forging, injection molding application, dip coating application, cleaning of parts, and etc. We can use the spherical configuration robots in die casting application, forging application, injection molding application, dip coating application, cleaning of parts, and etc. You can observe here. Here we are having two rotary motion and one sliding motion. By this, we are getting a spherical work envelopment in the industry. That's why it is called as a spherical configuration. Spherical configuration robot. Next, very important configuration is jointed arm configuration robot. Jointed arm configuration robot. This is same as that of our arm. It is same as that of our arm. I think many of you have seen the JCB, earth moving equipment. The company is a JCB. This is similar to the JCB. It is having a base. Base is connected to shoulder. Yes, the shoulder in turn connected to upper arm by using one joint. Again, shoulder is connected to base by using another joint. The upper arm is connected to forearm by using another joint, that is elbow in our body. Next, in our hand, we are having a elbow, that is the link, that is a joint between upper arm and forearm. Then this forearm is connected to wrist by using another joint. Here we are using all the rotary joints. We are not using any sliding joints. We are not using any sliding joints or linear joint. We are using all the rotary joint. Yes, by this we are increasing the work envelopment and also we are increasing the degree of freedom. Degree of freedom. Yes, here one rotary joint in between the shoulder and the base, and the rotary joint in between the upper arm and the shoulder, third rotary joint in between the forearm and upper arm, and fourth rotary joint in between the forearm and wrist. Yes, by this we are increasing the work envelopment. and also we are increasing the flexibility as compared to other robot configurations. Other robot configurations. Best example is earth moving equipment company is JCB. Many JCBs we have seen, this is similar to your JCB. This looks like a JCB. I hope it's clear to you. Coming to the advantages, the work volume available is large. By using this type of robot, the work volume availability is large. Second one is operation is quick. Third advantage is flexibility is increased. As compared to other configuration robots, flexibility gets increased. Coming to the disadvantages, operating procedures are difficult. As compared to other configuration robots, operating procedures are difficult. Next disadvantage is quite expensive type of the configurations. Then third one is number of components involved are more. In jointed arm robot, the number of components involved are more. Coming to the application point of view, to perform arc welding, spot welding, and spray painting operations. Yes, by using jointed arm robot, we can perform arc welding operation, we can perform spot welding operation, we can perform painting operation, spray painting operation, we can perform other machine loading and unloading operations, vehicle loading and unloading operations, yes, and many more, and many more. Next is advantages of the robot. Common advantages of the robot. The main advantages of the general robots are to increase the productivity, safety, efficiency, quality, and consistency of product. Second advantage is robots can work in hazardous environments. Third is robots work continuously without any humanity needs and illness. Fourth is robots and their sensors can have capabilities beyond that of humans. Fifth one is robots can possess multiple tasks simultaneously, but humans can only one. These are the advantages of the robot as compared to human beings. First one is it increases productivity, safety, efficiency, quality, and consistency of products. By using robot, we can increase the efficiency. We can also increase the productivity, and it is safety, and we are getting a good quality products. Second one is robots are working in a hazardous environment. Whenever we are unable to do the work in hazardous environment, in those cases by using robots to perform the work. Third important advantage is robots work continuously without any humanity needs and illness. That indicates that it will not take any rest. Without rest, robot can perform the operations continuously for longer period of time. Robots and their sensors can have capabilities beyond that of human beings. The sensors and actuators of the robots can work around 100 years and 200 years. That is beyond the human capabilities. Robots can process multiple tasks. A single robot can perform n number of tasks in a single period of time. But the human being, it can't perform a multiple task. Human being can perform only one task in a single period of time. The main drawbacks of the robots. Which are the main drawbacks of the robots? Robots are having lack of capability to respond in emergencies. This can cause This can cause, first one is inappropriate and wrong response. Sometimes robots can give an inappropriate and wrong response whenever there is an emergency, very important cases. In those cases, some robots gives an inappropriate and wrong response. Second one, a lack of decision making power. Robots can't have any decision making power. Based on the given set of the instructions, robot can perform the work. Yes, we should think what robot can do. Yes, based on that, we should give the set of instructions. Based on the set of instructions, robot can perform. It doesn't have any decision making capacity. Next is damage to the robot and other devices. Sometimes any damage to the robot can be taking place. It will cause around loss of crows together. Yes. Then last one is human injuries. Robot can made human injuries in some cases. These are the some drawbacks of the robot. Robots may have limited capabilities in degrees of freedom. You may see Cartesian configuration robot, it is having less degree of freedom as compared to cylindrical configuration robot. Cylindrical configuration robot is having less degree of freedom as compared to spherical configuration robot. Spherical configuration robot is having less degree of freedom as compared to jointed arm configuration robot. Second, sensors. We are using many sensors in the robot. Those sensors are costlier. Sometimes those sensors are working properly. Sometimes those sensors may not work properly. In those cases, we should think which is a good sensor, how it is working, whether that sensor is working properly or not. We should think that when. That is another limitation. Then vision system. Robots doesn't have any vision systems. Then system response. Sometimes the robot can respond properly. Sometimes robot can't respond properly. These are the some limitations of the robots. Robots are costly. I think you may have seen robots are costly around 50 lakh, 1 crore, 1.5 crore. Like that, robots are costly. Why the robots are costly? That is a point. Robots are costly due to initial cost of equipment. Initial cost of the equipments are costly. Second one, installation cost. Once you purchase the equipments, you should install those equipments in a particular position and particular place. And for a particular equipment or particular device, you should write a set of instructions, that is programs, that is the installation cost. Then need for peripherals. Next is need for training. We should give a training to the robot operator properly to avoid any misbehaviors. We should give the robot operators training properly before going to the actual operations, because normal person can't handle the robot, because we should write the program. Based on the program, robot can perform the task. Okay, the different tasks can be performed by the robot is controlled by the operator, right? Even JCB is also controlled by the operator. That operator is having the training. Yes, because without training we can't operate the JCB. Even as a normal person we can't operate the JCB. Like that, there is some need of training. Next is need for programming. Already you know robots are working mainly because of the set of instructions, that is a program. Without program, robot can't work. That's why need for programming, it is costlier. Program writers are costlier. Nowadays, software industries software industries are paying around 10 lakh, 20 lakh, 50 lakh per year. Yes, why they are giving? Because The people who are working in the software industry, they're having knowledge in the programming. Yes, for that reason, they are investing more. That's why it is costlier. Robot applications. There are many applications in the robot. Robots can use in the need to replace human labor by robot. Yes, by using robot, we can replace the human labors in almost all the industries nowadays by using robot. Almost all the manufacturing industries nowadays we are using robots. By this, the unemployment gets increases. Unemployment gets increases. Second one is work environment hazardous for human beings. Whenever the work environment is hazardous to the human beings, in those cases we are using robot to perform the task. Robot to perform the task. Third application is whenever there is a repetitive work. Whenever there is a repetitive work, in those cases by using robot to perform the work. That is pick and place application in the industry. That is a repetitive work and opening and closing of the door. Opening and closing of the door. That is a repetitive work, right? In those cases by using a robot. Next very important application is boring and unpleasant task. Whenever there is a work, that work is boring and unpleasant. In those cases, we are not performing. In those cases, by using robots to perform. Next very important application is multiple shift operations. Whenever there is a multiple shift operation, that is first shift, second shift, and third shift. In those cases, by using a robot, robot can work in all the shift, all the three shifts for n number of days, but human can't work. Yes. Next, operating for longer hours without rest. Robots are operating for a longer hours, that is 1 day, 2 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year continuously without any rest, but human can't. Next important application is assembly applications. Yes, nowadays in almost all the manufacturing industries are using robot for assembly applications. Assembly means manufacturing of the car, manufacturing of the bike, manufacturing of the bus. These are all the assembly parts, right? We can't manufacture the bus by using a single material. There are many parts are there. We should assemble all the parts in a proper place. In those cases, by using robots to perform the assembly application. Next very important application is material handling applications. Yes, material handling in the industry. That means transforming the material from one place to another place. That is material handling applications in the industry. We are using robot to transfer the material from one place to heavy materials from one place to another place. Then processing operations. In the process industry or in the manufacturing industry, by using robot for all the processings, welding operation, grinding operation, facing operation, thread cutting operation, knurling operation, all the operations are performed by robot itself without using manpower. The last one is inspection applications. Once you manufacture a car, whether that car is working properly or not, we're checking that car by using a robot. All the equipments which are mounted in the car, all the equipments are working properly or not, we are checking by using a robot instead of using manpower nowadays. In your syllabus, these four are important applications: assembly application, material handling application, processing operations, inspection applications. Study in detail. First one is material handling. In the industry, if you want to transfer the material from one place to another place, heavy materials from one place to another place by using robot instead of using manpower. That is material handling. Material transfer or machine loading and unloading. If you want to load the machine, if you want to load workpiece to the machine in the lathe machine, heavy workpiece in the lathe machine by using a robot instead of using manpower. And unloading. Second is machine loading and unloading are die casting, plastic molding, forging, heat treatment. Yes, These are the machine loading and unloading. Forging is nothing but heating the equipment or heating the workpiece to a certain temperature and applying the external pressure to convert one shape of the material into the required shape. That is called as a forging operation. For doing the forging operation, we're using a robot instead of using manpower. Next important application is heat treatment. Heat treatment is nothing but we're placing the workpiece inside the furnace and applying external heat. Once we are applying the external heat, it gets converted solid into molten state. Yes, that molten liquid material is again taken back and pour into the molding applications. That is called as heat treatment applications. Heat treatment applications. Processing operations. These are the different processing operations. First one is spot welding. Whenever you want to perform a welding in a particular position, a particular point, in those cases we are using a robot to perform welding. That is called as spot welding operation. Arc welding. First, you should know what is welding. Welding is nothing but joining two similar or dissimilar materials with the application of the heat with or without the application of the external pressure. That is called as welding. Yes, arc welding. Whenever you want to perform arc welding operations for joining of the two materials, in those cases by using robot instead of using manpower. Spray coating. Whenever you want to do painting operation in your house or in your industry for your bike or for your car, in those cases by using robot instead of using manpower. Next, drilling operation. Drilling operation can also be performed by using robot instead of using manpower. Then grinding operations can also be performed by using a robot instead of using manpower. Then laser cutting operations. This is a hazardous work, right? In those cases by using robot instead of using manpower. Metal cutting operations are performed by using laser cutting. Yes. These are all the operations carried out in the industry by using robot nowadays instead of using manpower. For that reason only nowadays the unemployment gets increases continuously because the robot, single robot can perform 100 or 200 people work in a day. Yes, why people are thinking to reduce the employment means because of the robot. Next, assembly and inspection. Assembly in the name itself indicates that it involves combination of two or more parts to form a new product. Best example is car, cycle, motorcycle, pen, pencil, and etc. These are all the assembled parts because car is having many parts, right? It is having a chassis, it is having a body, it is having a steering, it is having a gearbox, it is having a engine, IC engine, it is having other parts. Yes, in addition to these, so many electronics devices are also there in the cars. Okay, we have to place all the devices in a particular position and form a single meaningful new product. That product is called as a car. Yes, like that pen. Pen is also having different parts. It is having a cap, it is having a refill, it is having ink. Yes, like that if you add all the parts in a proper position you are getting a meaningful product. That product is a new product, pen. Yes, and for assembly and inspection purpose by using jointed arm robot, Cartesian coordinate robot, and SCADA robot. These three robots are used for assembly and inspection. What do we mean by inspection? Inspection is nothing but once you manufacture a car, whether that car is working properly or not, whether your steering is working properly or not, whether your gearbox is working properly or not, first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, and reverse gear, fifth gear, and reverse gear, all the gears are working properly or not, and speed of your engine, is getting properly or not, car is moving with a particular speed or not, is all the sensors are working properly or not, the wheel is rotating properly or not. Is once you manufacture the car, you should check all these things before that comes to the market, right? That checking is nothing but the inspection. That checking is nothing but the inspection. All these checkings are performed by using a robot. That is called as inspection. Inspection, it is completion of the job. Perfect assembly, it checks the perfect assembly. Then defects in raw materials and finished products, where whether the defects are there in the raw materials or not, and finished products any defects are not there. If any defects are there, those products can be rejected. If there are no defects, those products can be accepted and sent it to the market. Thank you.